And what I want to talk about today is the idea that we can find more confidence within us if we know where to look. And where do we look? We go within. We look under the bonnet. And actually, confidence doesn't exist on the outside. It exists within, in the visceral stuff, in the bits within you that we don't see. And we're going to go. Great voice. Practice is the way to a great instrument. So that's lesson 1. And we have another drawer, which we're going to open in a moment. But before we get there, I've got a question. Say you walk into a room, okay? You don't know anybody. Some of you may have had that feeling this morning. How do you know who the most powerful person in the room is? The person with the most confidence, that inner confidence that we're going for here. How could you tell? How they carry themselves. That's lovely, Lola. And you're in the same space, aren't you? Because you're a singer. And it is that how they carry themselves. And actually, what an actor will tell you is that it's about the breath. The most powerful person in the room has the most relaxed breathing pattern. And there's a well-known scientist called Paul Ekman who looks into emotion. And he said, which would make actors laugh because it seems so straightforward to them, but maybe isn't to science, that he couldn't understand why breath mattered for a long time, and his research has explored it, until he started to understand that the unconscious system, I can't control my spleen, it's just doing its own thing. But I can control my breathing. And if I get into my breathing, I get into the unconscious. I calm myself down. So what's within you is the key to this relaxed, confident power. Actors know this because when actors are playing king, the king stays really still. Everybody moves around the king, and that's how you know the king's in charge. The next time you feel nervous about something, try that. Try getting still. Now, within your body is something that is really the king of the body. It's what the Greeks called the center of all expression. And I bet that 50% of this room have never thought about it. Would you like to see what it is? So, thank you, my still handsome friend. So, okay, we've got our lungs, haven't we? We've got this, which is probably not an anatomical representation of a heart, but it's nice. But what's down here? What's this? Thank you very much, diaphragm. It is indeed your diaphragm. Now put your hands up if you have thought about the diaphragm recently. Put your hands up if you've thought about your diaphragm today. Thank you, singers in the room. Good, or actors, or saxophonists. Put your hands up if you haven't yet thought about your diaphragm today. Yeah, that is quite a large percentage. So we don't think about our diaphragms, do we? But the diaphragm is the key to regulating your system. It's how you calm yourself down in that moment where you stand in front of all the eyes. It will make you feel confident when you most need it and you least feel like it. Now, I didn't know anything about my diaphragm. I'd learnt about it. I knew what it was supposed to look like, but I didn't know how it felt. And then one day, I was feeling really stressed. I was breathing up in my chest. I had that kind of squeaky, high-voiced adrenaline breathing up in the chest. Not good. And I walked into a yoga class, and the yoga teacher said, "You look really stressed," which is never a good start. He said, "Lie down on the floor." And he lay me down, and I closed my eyes, expecting some lovely, relaxing yoga thing. And suddenly, he put a gym weight on my stomach. And he said, "Breathe, lift that." And I did. I breathed in. And as I breathed in, I had to lift that gym weight with my stomach. And my diaphragm shuddered into action. And suddenly I got it. I got how it should feel. I got that I didn't need to breathe up here anymore, that I could breathe down. And I'd like to suggest that the diaphragm is the king of confidence. So should we find yours? We take a thumb? And take your thumb and just put it below your bra strap. Yeah, that's right, sir, you got it. That's it. And just thumb there and just gently push. Now, Laurence Olivier, when he was taught to breathe, Laurence Olivier, you know the actor, was taught to breathe by pushing a grand piano. Now, I certainly don't have a grand piano at home. London houses don't fit them these days, do they? But we can all practice the feeling of pushing a grand piano if you breathe in and push your thumb away. And now breathe out and feel it push back. So you're filling up an air balloon in your stomach. Now breathe in, push your thumb away. Now breathe out, push it back. Welcome to your diaphragm. And if you put your hands on your ribs, your diaphragm goes all the way around. You can also fill the rib cage as you breathe in. So feel the ribs open as you breathe and close as you breathe out. If you are ever nervous about one of these moments, do that. Your diaphragm is the key to your confidence. So we've got 2 lessons. We've got the power of practice. We've got the importance of the diaphragm. There's a 3rd lesson, which is the big one. It's the one that really makes a difference. And I started to think about this lesson a couple of weeks ago, actually, because someone I'd worked with wrote to me. She wrote me an email, and she said she'd been through the worst possible thing that you can imagine happening to someone. She had just got married and was on honeymoon when her husband had a heart attack and died. And she had to go back to the church they got married in and speak a eulogy for this man. In fact, she also read a poem that she'd written when they first met. And she said, on the worst day of my life, I had to pull myself together. I had to find the energy of celebration for this man that I really loved. And the only way to do it was what you taught me, the skills of breathing low and slow, taking my time, getting the control, finding the inner confidence. It was the greatest gift I could give him. And there are moments in our lives where we have to speak, not because we have something to say for us, but because we want to speak for someone else, a wedding, a eulogy. And I would suggest that in those moments, these skills matter more than ever. And what you need to know in those moments is in this drawer. It's breath. It's air. And why air matters is because we breathe our thoughts. All speech is out-breath. All song is out-breath. And all in-breath is thought. Just put a hand back on that diaphragm for a moment and breathe out. And then feel the breath in, and as you breathe in, think of someone you really love. Now, if we were all to speak on that out-breath, it would be full of love. Now breathe in again, and breathe in a feeling of excitement for the day that's going to come, because it's going to be so good. And if we were to breathe in and then speak on that feeling, then we have excitement in our voices. So you can control your voice with the idea of breath is thought. And it's in Latin, the 2 worlds, ancient and modern. The Romans understood this. Inspiration and respiration have the same root. The Romans understood that we breathe our thoughts. And because we speak on the out-breath, all you have to think about is the in-breath. And you know the simplest way to think about the in-breath? Close your mouth. So who would have thought that the big secret I promised you was that if you want confidence in speech, all you have to do is know when to shut your mouth. Thank you.